Hello and welcome to my first ever podcast video. I'm Matthew Shapiro, alongside in future videos, Zach Krimsky, not here today unfortunately, recovering from an illness, but he should be here next week. This is the We Know Ball podcast. We talk about everything sports related, basketball, football, baseball, college sports, you name it, we'll talk about it. Just maybe not soccer, but we will record an episode every Tuesday and Friday. Today's Tuesday, hence the recording. So hopefully Zach will make it to Friday's episode. If not, next Tuesday for sure. Let's get rolling here. We're going to talk about some breaking news. As of a good 20 minutes ago, the MLB is implementing a new rule for next year with challenging umpires' calls for balls and strikes. The MLB teams are allowed to now challenge 2 balls or strikes. They can challenge if they think it's a ball, if they think it's a strike. The MLB minor leagues implemented this rule a few years ago. The actual MLB, the major leagues, implemented it this past year for 1 pitch, I believe they can challenge for a ball or strike. Now they're doing 2, so we'll see if they change a lot. Just hope that the umps can make it a little more exciting for fans, just not call a pitch that's 3 feet outside a strike, not call a pitch right down the plate a ball. Just hope that the umps can learn from this and become better as overall umpires. The next bit of breaking news is Oklahoma State, after a long time, is firing their head coach, Mike Gundy. He made some comments a few weeks ago about Oregon football ahead of their matchup against Oklahoma State. Oregon, I believe, won 69-3, so I don't know what Gundy was yapping about, but he basically said that he doesn't need money in order to coach. Talking about Oregon getting a bunch of players through the transfer portal and recruiting with a bunch of money with the NIL and stuff. But then head coach of Oregon, Dan Lanning, responded to Gundy saying, at least we try to win, basically what he was saying. So Gundy, then, I don't believe he responded from that. Then Oregon, it was 2 Saturdays ago, won 69-3. Gundy, a little quiet after that, and then as of this morning, was fired after a long hiatus with Oklahoma State. I'm not sure how long, but definitely over 15 years. Next up, another breaking news as of around an hour ago. The Giants are benching quarterback Russell Wilson and starting rookie sensation Jaxson Dart from Ole Miss. I have a lot of friends who are Giants fans, mixed feelings about this. Me and Zach, we're huge Philly sports fans. Eagles, Sixers, Phillies, Flyers, sort of, Penn State. We love it all. I love it all. But I have a bunch of camp friends who are Giants fans, and they have mixed emotions about this. Jaxson Dart, rookie, played in a few snaps the past few weeks. Didn't look great. He was solid in the preseason, don't get me wrong, but, he's against good defenses now. And they're playing the Chargers next week, the Giants. Have one of the best defenses, especially their D-lines, in the entire NFL, and I just don't think Jaxson Dart's going to do it. It's going to pan out well against this Chargers this week. Maybe the Saints in 2 weeks, but the Chargers might eat him alive in his first start, and the Giants, you can just write them off as of now. They're 0-3. They're not going to do anything the rest of the season. Just hoping that Malik Neighbors can put together a quality season, because I have him in fantasy. But Neighbors, unbelievable talent. Giants, not a very good team, so maybe he'll leave the Giants like Saquon did, join the Eagles, and have the best year of his career. Next up, we have all the NFL injuries over the past 3 days since Sunday. Players like Najee Harris, who's out for the season, James Conner out for the season, Nick Bosa out for the season. Players who are out for the next 2 to 4 weeks, like CeeDee Lamb, Mike Evans, Tyler Booker, Tyrone Tracy, and then players who are returning this week, like Christian Gonzalez, or probably returning. They're questionable, but, usually means they're probably going to play. Christian Gonzalez, and for the first time in around a year, Chris Godwin looks to return this week. In his matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles, of course. Go Birds. Then we got two quarterbacks who missed one of them missed one this past week. Jaden Daniels is still questionable. They're possibly leaning into not playing him this week just because of how solid Marcus Mariota played last week, and they don't want to rush him back into things. But a quarterback they are trying to rush back into things is Brock Purdy, with Mac Jones having is questionable to play also. So they are looking to get Brock Purdy back into the starting role this week, and let's see. We'll keep you updated with that on Friday. We'll see if they officially say something. Titans coaching news. They are evicting head coach Brian Callahan with play calling duties. They are implementing the quarterback coach. Blanking on his name. I could look it up for you guys, tell you guys on Friday, but don't have his name right now. But it's their quarterback's coach, and the Titans are getting Brian Callahan out of the play calling duties, and they're putting the quarterback's coach as the play calling guy. We'll see if Cam Ward can play a little bit better, get the ball more to Calvin Ridley. He's been looking good with rookie out of Stanford, Alec Aominer, that rookie-to-rookie connection, but Titans have still not put over 20 points, I believe. They're 0-3. They did score 20 this past week against the Colts. I think that was the most. They just look god-awful right now. Let's see if they can turn it around with the new play-calling guy. This is not breaking news, really. Maybe not even news at all, but Jason Tatum stated earlier today that he's not ruling out for the season. He could still play the season later in the season. I don't know if that's true. He tore his Achilles, which is a devastating injury that usually keeps players out for the entire season, but Tatum, he's a player, he's a winner, he wants to get back in the court as soon as possible. So he was ruled out for the season, but he publicly stated that don't count your chickens before they hatch. He could come back by the end of the season and hopefully maybe lead the Celtics to the playoffs. Hopefully not, actually. Go Sixers. Two more bits of news here coming within the past 10 minutes. Texans are cutting former Eagle C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Locker room cancer, I guess, but he's one hell of a player, and hopefully the Birds can pick up on that, get him back onto the squad. Just hoping that. I was really devastated after the Eagles traded him for Kenyon Green. He's not even on the team anymore. That didn't seem like it was very necessary at all. Probably the same locker room issues. But really hoping that the Birds can get back C.J. Gardner-Johnson if he's a free agent right now. Next up, within the past 10 minutes as well, Giants are signing kicker Younghoe Koo to the practice squad. Falcons recently released him after a long 5-year run with the Falcons. He missed a bunch of kicks, including the game-winning one in Week 1 against the Buccaneers. But he was benched in Week 2 to John Parker Romo, who was great in Week 2. So Falcons cut him after Week 2. Then Parker Romo missed at least 2 field goals in their 30-0 loss against the Panthers. Hopefully the Falcons don't regret that, cutting Koo. But the Giants are going to pick up on the scraps, sign Younghoe Koo to the practice squad with a sort of injury to Graham Gano. He's also getting a little old. He's not very good anymore. So wouldn't be shocked if the Giants start Younghoe Koo this Sunday. Let's go over the college football top 25 and the matchups they have this week. Number 1, Ohio State. Obviously, deserved number 1. Beat Texas Week 1. Looked very good the rest of the week so far. They play Washington. Taking Ohio State to win, yeah. I don't know about, Washington. They are 4-0, I believe. But Ohio State, number 1 in the country, not going to lose to Washington. Number 2 is Miami. They jumped up 2 spots from 4 to 2 after their impressive 26-7 win against Florida. Carson Beck and Miami have a bye this week, so not much going to change. But number 3, Penn State. We are, baby. We play number 6, Oregon, in the whiteout this week. Be there or be square. Penn State looking to get their first huge win in a while under the James Franklin era. He does not win many big games, but with Oregon traveling across the country to this electric environment in Happy Valley, especially in the whiteout game, there's no chance that Dante Moore in Oregon can get the job done here. It's got to be nothing but Penn State here. Another big game here. Number 4, LSU against number 13, Ole Miss. LSU dropped 1 spot after Miami jumped up 2. And Ole Miss had a really impressive 45-10 victory against a very solid Tulane squad on Saturday. So, okay, so I'm picking Penn State to win. I'm going to pick Ole Miss to win. I think Ole Miss is they're home this week against LSU. And I believe they're going to ride that momentum against Tulane into this game against LSU at home and take the dub. Another huge game here. We have number 5, Georgia, facing number 17, Alabama. Bama started the season top 10, lost to Florida State week 1. Looks solid since then, but Georgia, very impressive win 2 weeks ago against Tennessee. And I'm going to take Georgia here to win. Alabama's probably going to fall out of the top 25 here with their second loss of the season. But I like Georgia. I like Hunter Stockton. Huge fan of Zachariah Branch. I think he's one hell of a player. I think Bama under Ty Simpson, Ryan Williams, not going to get the job done. Going to fall to 3-2 and 3-2. I think, yeah. They're going to actually might be 2-2. I think they only played 3 games so far, but they're going to fall out. Georgia is going to get the job done. Number 7, Oklahoma. Impressive win, covering the spread at the last second with a late fourth quarter safety to beat Auburn by 7, 24-17. The Heisman favorite right now, John Mateer. They have a bye this week, so not much going to change there. Number 8, Florida State. Very, very impressive season so far, beating the likes of Alabama and a few other teams. They have a game on Friday against Virginia. Shouldn't be too much of a struggle there. Give me Florida State by a lot. Another big game here. Number 9, Texas A&M versus a team who was formerly ranked after losing to Oklahoma last week. Auburn is not ranked anymore. A&M is home for this game. So I'm going to take A&M to beat Auburn, but I think Auburn's still a very solid, no, not even very solid, very good football team, just happen to have a tough schedule in the SEC. Number 10, Texas, not a fan of them at all. Arch Manning has looked atrocious so far, but Texas has a bye this week also, so not much going to change, but wouldn't be shocked by the end of the season if Texas is not in the top 25. You know, in the very gritty and grindy SEC, just, it's going to be tough for them. Number 11, Indiana. Very, very, very impressive win on Saturday, 63-10 against number 9 at the time, Illinois. Quarterback Fernando Mendoza looks like one of the best players in all of college football right now. He is putting together one hell of a season. Indiana versus Iowa. I'm taking Indiana by a ton, by a landslide to beat Iowa. Coach Kirk Cignetti is one of the best in all of college football, proving that from last season, coming from James Madison and then leading Indiana to the college football playoffs. People had not the highest of expectations for Indiana this year after a great season last year. They did start the season ranked, but people were like, nah, Indiana won't be as good. They don't have quarterback Curtis Rourke anymore. But they got Mendoza. He looks even better than Rourke, and I think Indiana is going to go back to the playoffs this year. Number 12, Texas Tech, after a very impressive fourth quarter win against Utah. Saying fourth quarter win, you probably think it's like a very close game. It was 34-10. The score is 13-10 going into the fourth quarter, and they scored 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and Utah did not score at all. Texas Tech, is number 12. jumping up 5 spots from 17 to 12, and has a bye this week, so not much going to change there. We already got Ole Miss out of the way. Number 14, Iowa State against Arizona. Arizona, a very good unranked squad. They are 4-0. So is Iowa State. Iowa State had a win early in the season against Kansas State in Dublin. Thought it was a good win. Kansas State got that Dublin curse from Florida State last year, and it's just absolute garbage. Then they beat Iowa, and also very terrible Power 5 team. So they have 2 Power 5 wins. Neither are good. They struggled 2 weeks ago against Arkansas State. I'm not a fan of this Iowa State squad. I'm taking Arizona on the road to beat Iowa State here. Arizona led by Noah Fifita, quarterback for the 3rd year. He's a very solid player. Arizona was supposed to be good last year. Didn't really fit up to the expectations with Fifita and Tedero McMillan, but I believe Arizona is a pretty solid team, and I think they're going to get the job done on the road against Iowa State. Number 15, Tennessee versus Mississippi State. Mississippi State, the worst team in all of SEC last year. They're proving why they are a team to not mess with, as they beat Arizona State 3 weeks ago, I believe. Yep, 3 weeks ago. Arizona State was number 11 or 12 at the time, and Mississippi State just shut them down on offense. 17-13, I believe, was the final score. But Mississippi State here is against Tennessee, who is one of the best teams in the country, I believe. I believe they're very underranked. I know they do have a loss against Georgia, but if they didn't, if they made that kick at the end, they would have won that game, and they would most definitely be in the top 10, probably even the top 7 or 8. But I believe 15 Tennessee with Joey Aguilar, very, very good quarterback, one of the top Heisman contenders right now. I believe Tennessee will win this game by a good amount. Number 16, Georgia Tech. They were a good sleeper playoff pick heading into the season, and they are looking like a playoff pick right now. Not even a sleeper anymore. They play Wake Forest. Give me Tech by three scores. We got Alabama, Georgia out of the way. Vanderbilt versus Utah State. Diego Pavia. I'm not going to disappoint here. Give me Vandy by a lot. Oh, Zach, when he's here, he's a huge Vanderbilt fan. His brother is a senior at Vanderbilt right now, so he's a huge fan of Vandy. And I'm a Penn State fan. He likes Penn State a lot too, but I feel like he's more of Vandy, and I'm obviously Penn State. Number 19, Michigan. Don't like them at all. I don't think they're good at all, but they have a bye this week. Not going to talk too much about them. Number 20, Missouri. Bo Prabula. Let's go Tigers. Versus UMass, who's 0-3. I'm taking Missouri probably 56-0, maybe even more. Former Penn State quarterback Bo Prabula. Penn State looking like they took the wrong guy. They took Aller over him. But I wouldn't be shocked if Prabula, if he doesn't go to the draft this year, goes back to Penn State next year. Wouldn't be too shocked about that. I have some inside sources telling me something about that. This is a good game as well. Actually, I'm not really sure. 21 USC against number 23 Illinois. Illinois just got their absolute ass whipped, absolutely belted against Indiana, on Saturday, 63-10. We addressed that already. But USC looking like one of the best teams in the country right now. They're just unbelievable. Jada Maeva, Jacoby Lane, they're looking great under Lincoln Riley. They beat Michigan State by a good amount, and I believe that USC is a playoff team this year, and I think they will beat Illinois on the road this week by a decent amount. Number 24, TCU versus Arizona State on Friday. People wrote off Arizona State right away after their loss against Mississippi State, but I'm not one of those people. Sam Leavitt, Jordan Tyson, I believe that Arizona State will beat TCU. So we get back into the rankings, drop TCU out. And number 25, BYU in a Alamo Bowl rematch against Deion Sanders in Colorado. Let's see who Colorado starts this week, if that's Caden Salter or their other quarterback. But I believe BYU will win this game and jump up in the rankings a little bit. Okay, so that's all of my college football picks as of the ranked games this week. Let's jump into some MLB playoff predictions. So my Philadelphia Phillies are right now 92-64. They're currently 2.5 games behind the Milwaukee Brewers for first place. Already clinched the NL East 2 weeks ago after their no, not 2 weeks ago, last week after a big comeback win against the Dodgers. The Mets actually fell out of the playoffs right now. The Reds currently have the tiebreaker over them. They're both, I believe, 80-76. But the Phillies, 2.5 games behind the Brewers. The Brewers have a series against the Padres right now that started last night, and they lost. The Phillies did not play last night, but they do have 6 more games left. They have a series against the Marlins starting tonight, and a series against the Twins starting on, it's today, Tuesday, Friday through Sunday against the Twins. I believe the Phillies are capable of sweeping both these teams. I believe they will win 2 out of 3 against the Marlins, and then I believe they will sweep the Twins. I forget who the Brewers play in their last series. I'm not quite sure, but I think the Phillies do have a good chance of getting that number 1 seed, but I don't think they will. I think they'll stay at 2, and just hoping for them to maintain their lead against the Dodgers, which they definitely will. They're 40 games above the Dodgers. The magic number is like 2 games. They do have the series tiebreaker against the Dodgers, which is very good. So we'll see what happens there. But let's go to the AL here. The Detroit Tigers have started up here. They had the best record in baseball, I believe, going into the month of August. They're all the way down here now. The Tigers completely fell off the face of the earth. They're still in the playoffs as of right now. They are like 85-71, I believe. I think they have the tiebreaker over the Guardians right now for the lead in the AL Central. But their hitting has been atrocious. They don't score runs anymore. Tariq Skubal has been good still, but not as good as he was earlier in the season. The Tigers, I'm not sure if they'll make it anymore. The Guardians are really, really hot right now. And teams like the Astros and the Red Sox, I believe, I think the Astros are tied with the Tigers, and the Red Sox are above the Tigers with their record. So even if the Guardians take over, the Tigers might fall down out of the wild card spot, which is insane to me. But I believe the World Series matchup will be my Philadelphia Phillies against maybe the Seattle Mariners. They've been really hot lately. Their pitching is really deep with Brian Wu and a bunch of other guys. They're hitting, obviously, with Cal Raleigh and Eugenio Suarez and Julio Rodriguez and Jorge Polanco. They're a really good team to look out for in the playoffs. They are really hot right now as well. So I'm going to take the top 2 home run hitters to face off in the World Series, Kyle Schwarber, Cal Raleigh. That's going to be my pick, and I believe my Philadelphia Phillies will get the job done and become the 2025 World Series champions. It'll be a huge year for Philly sports with the Eagles and the Phillies both winning, so let's hope and pray that it happens. Let's jump into, we'll stay with the MLB. We'll go with MLB award predictions. So, not many are up for debate too much. Let's start in the AL. AL MVP, I'm going to go with Aaron Judge, with Cal Raleigh being in second place. AL Cy Young is going to be Tariq Skubal. He has been a little struggling lately, but he still has the best stats. He's still the best pitcher in all of baseball, so Skubal will win the Cy Young. AL Rookie of the Year, I'm going to go with Nick Kurtz out of Oakland. Excuse me, not Oakland anymore. They're just the A's. They play in Sacramento right now. Nick Kurtz over fellow rookie Jacob Wilson will win the AL Rookie of the Year. I'm not the best with manager names, but I believe that the Blue Jays manager, forget his name, will win AL Manager of the Year, because the Blue Jays are the 1 seed in the AL after not having the highest expectations going into this year, with teams like the Yankees and the Red Sox both, and the Orioles, honestly, in that division. The Blue Jays were probably projected to finish in 4th, and are the clear best team in that division. The Yankees are in the uprise right now, but the Blue Jays manager will win the Manager of the Year. Jumping into the National League here, as much as I want to say Kyle Schwarber for National League MVP, it's got to be Shohei Ohtani. He hits, he pitches, he's great at both. He's elite at both, let's just say that. yeah, Shohei Ohtani will win the NL MVP, making that his 4th MVP, I believe. I believe he won in 2021 with the Angels, 2023 with the Angels, so both in the AL there, and then 2024 with the Dodgers, so last year, and then 2025 with the Dodgers will be his 4th. Judge won 2022. He won AL MVP. 2024, he won an AL MVP, and then 2025. So that will make Judge his 3rd, all 3 in the AL, and then Ohtani, 2 in the AL, 2 in the NL now. So, yeah. And then let's go to NL. Cy Young was probably going to be Zach Wheeler before the injury. I honestly had high hopes for Christopher Sanchez, but he's been a little disappointing lately, so process of elimination, it's got to be Paul Skeens out of Pittsburgh. He's unbelievable. He's so young still. This is his 2nd year in the league. He's just a great talent. He's going to be one of the best pitchers going over the next 10, 15 years. He will be unbelievable. Paul Skeens will be the NL Cy Young. Now the NL Rookie of the Year. This is a toss-up here. A bunch of people were up at the top and then fell down, like Jacob Mizorowski, like Isaac Collins of the Brewers as well. But I believe it will be Braves catcher Drake Baldwin. The Braves had a really disappointing season this year. Acuna played well. Nobody else played well. But they had a nice young rookie named Drake Baldwin, who is a catcher. He had a very good season, and I believe he will win the NL Rookie of the Year. Now, Manager of the Year. It could be Rob Thompson, but it's not going to be. It's going to be the Brewers manager. I'm terrible with manager names, besides the obvious top guys. But the Brewers manager, #1 record in the league, #1 in the NL, just absolutely dominant season by the Milwaukee Brewers, and he will win the NL Manager of the Year. Let's jump into some NFL here. Back to the NFL. Okay, so Thursday night. I'm not sure what the game is on Thursday night, honestly. That's on me. I should probably come more prepared than that. But let's go over the Eagles, actually. The Eagles play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday at 1. Eagles do not fare well against the Bucs in the past. They lost the past 2 in the playoffs 2 years ago and last year in the regular season. They did win 2 years ago in the regular season, but they haven't played at home against the Bucs in a while. This is the 4th straight game, including the playoffs. They're playing the Bucs in Tampa. But teams are both 3-0. Both crazy block kicks. The Bucs got blocked. The Eagles did the blocking against the Rams. That was just absolutely crazy. Jordan Davis just deserves the keys to the city after that. That was crazy. But I believe the Eagles will win this game. No Mike Evans. Chris Godwin might be returning, which is big, but he's very injured. The Bucs do have breakout rookie Emeka Egbuka, who I'm a huge fan of. I think he's going to be a great talent for the next 10 years, one of the top receivers in football. After this year, I believe he will be a 1,000-yard receiver every single year. The Bucs are missing offensive tackle Tristan Wirfs. I believe he's still injured, which is a huge deal. They do have Bucky Irving, who's a great running back talent, but the Eagles' D-line, led by Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and Nolan Smith off the edge, I believe that the Eagles will get to Baker Mayfield a lot, similar to 2 weeks ago against the Texans when Baker got sacked over 5 times. I believe the Eagles will hopefully do the same thing here. I believe the Eagles will win. Final score 27-21, Philly over the Buccaneers. Go Birds. Oh, and Jalen Hurts, he looked like in the second half this past week, this is the best football he's ever played in his life, I believe. He threw for over 200 yards and 3 passing touchdowns in only the second half alone. Whatever the Eagles did there in the second half, they got to continue that. Kevin Petula is not the guy to call the play. It's Jalen Hurts. I honestly have no clue what happened if Petula just changed up the play calling since they're down by a lot, wanted to throw the ball more. Or if somebody else was calling the plays, like Nick Sirianni or even Jalen Hurts honestly could have been calling the plays. But just get the rock in Jalen Hurts' hands. Let him cook. Let him throw the ball to A.J. Brown. Let him throw the ball to Devontae Smith. Still, obviously, give the ball to Saquon, but I'd like for Hurts to throw the ball a little bit more like he did in the second half there. It was phenomenal to watch as a huge Birds fan. Next up, we are going to continue with the NFL. We're going to talk about some fantasy. I'll address my main fantasy football team. Quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Running backs, Saquon Barkley and Kyren Williams. Receivers, not the best right now. It's Ladd McConkey and Jacoby Myers, the flex. Amari Hampton. Defense is the Bills, I believe, and kickers Ken Little of the Jags. And the benches, Jamison Williams, Brian Robinson, Blake Corum, Darnell Mooney, Rashid Shaheed, and Hunter Henry and Marvin Mims. Oh, forgot tight end Tucker Kraft. He's been great so far this season. A little shaky this past week, and Hunter Henry just had 30 points on my bench, so we'll see who I start this week. Probably going to lean Kraft still, but unfortunately, I started Jamison Williams over Amari and Hampton after Hampton's first 2 rough weeks. But we're starting Hampton this week, and team's 2-1. Been struggling a little bit. Saquon has not been performing that well so far. Ladd McConkey's not been performing that well so far. Kyren had his first good game this week. Hurts has been great week 1, bad week 2, great week 3, so high hopes for Hurts. Hampton, after the first 2 terrible weeks, looked great and is now the solidified RB1 with Najee Harris being out for the season. Jamison Williams really pissed me off there. So it was up 20 points going into Monday Night Football. I had Jamison Williams. He had Amon-Ra St. Brown and Mark Andrews. J-Mo had 2 catches on the first drive. I was up to like 80%, I want to say. And I was up, I think I was 89% going into the second half. Then Mark Andrews scored down to like 30%. And Amon-Ra St. Brown scored down to like 2%. And then Jamison Williams got 2 catches in the first drive, 0 in the rest of the game. So I lost. And Mark Andrews scored again on top of that. So when I bench him in my other league, when I start in my other league, he gets 1 point. When I bench him and play against him, he scores 30 points. Thank you, fantasy gods. But that's it, basically. So I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode of the We Know Ball podcast. Me and Zach, who will be here hopefully on Friday, if not next Tuesday. But that's pretty much the whole deal here. We will have some new topics going on. We're going to implement a trivia game and even a top 10. We'll do a top 10 like plays of the week, top 10 games of the week, top 10 moments of the week, top 10 players. We'll figure something out, but it's going to be a corresponding thing between me and him, so we'll figure it out. But see you guys on Friday. Hope you guys enjoyed.